Hitters University originally started, I remember it was fall of 2022. I just got done in the minor leagues, having a really good season. I was focused on trying to make it to the big leagues, and our season ended mid-September. A few weeks went by. I took a little bit of a break, and I realized it's time to get back to work. So I went out to Arizona to our spring training complex out in Glendale, Arizona. And I remember I got done with a workout. I got done hitting in the cage. And at the time, I had an Instagram account where I would help people get better at baseball. I would give out free value when it comes to how you can improve your swing, what you should be doing for baseball player development. And it was called OSIC Hitting at the time. And I just remember I said, I really love baseball. I'm passionate about baseball and player development. I had to work extremely hard to get really good. And I also had a really good foundation from my dad that played 10 years in the big leagues and 18 years professionally, and then has now coached 20 years of college baseball, that I had so much knowledge and information in my head that I was just trying to share it with the next generation and help them. I grew kind of a little bit on social media, and I just decided a lot of baseball guys and a lot of people that build their own companies and own baseball training businesses, they'll call it, for example, Tyler Osick Hitting. And I just always knew I wanted it to not be so directly attached to me. I wanted to be the driving force behind it and give my information how I could help players. But I also wanted it to be kind of a bigger brand and a bigger vision where I could help as many players as possible through also bringing on other coaches, training coaches to think the way that I think and how we want to go about player development. And then in return, help as many players as possible. And I thought that I remember sitting in my locker and I said, what am I going to change this? I don't want it to be OSIC Hitting. I said, all right, so I'm going to be helping people how to hit and I'm going to be teaching them how to hit. So let's call it Hitters University. So I thought of Hitters University. I opened Canva on my phone in my locker room, and I created a little logo on Canva. I changed the Instagram handle to Hitters University. And then since I've changed it to Hitters University, it's just progressed. So now, fast forward a couple of years, right? I kept chasing baseball. I was trying to make it to the big leagues and have a sustainable career. And as I was getting older in the minor leagues, I actually winded up having my daughter. My daughter was going to be born in a few months. So I decided that I actually wanted to be around her and see her grow up and be a good dad. I was still a couple steps away from doing what I wanted to do with baseball, and I saw the writing on the wall. So I looked kind of to end my career and just be a full-time dad. So I came to Beaufort, South Carolina, and I had my college degree. I had this small thing I was doing on social media, but I didn't really know what I was going to do. And I started giving lessons out at a church. It was a single cage called Praise Assembly here in Beaufort, South Carolina. And I started giving lessons, and I posted my flyer on Facebook. And I stumbled across this kid, Landon Davis. His mom reached out to me, and I started giving lessons to him. And then slowly but surely, I started building up a bigger and bigger clientele. And I was really grinding. I was grinding in this single cage, didn't have much money, but I just had all the things that I learned along the way that I could help with this next generation. So I slowly built up a clientele, and I decided I was just like, I'm looking around here, and there's no baseball training facility that was adequate enough for the kids of the low country to train and practice at. So I was sitting there and I said, I really want to start this. I have this online thing. I'm going to do it in person. So, we found this location here in Beaufort, South Carolina. This shoe store was going out of business and they were ending their lease. And, we pretty much revamped this shoe store as a 3,800 square foot building. It had white walls, gray carpet, and we completely turned it in to the baseball facility that I would want if I was a kid in Beaufort, South Carolina. So that's kind of how Hitters University came about. We built this thing pretty much from the ground up, and we're trying to help as many kids as possible in the low country area have a chance to reach their dream. Some players here in this area, their dream might be to make their high school varsity team. Some people might want to go play Division I baseball, and maybe some people want to make it to the major leagues. But whatever their dream is, we just want to be able to help them achieve that and give them a place to be able to do that. And that's kind of what we're building here at Hitters University. And we plan to do this for a while and open a few more locations and help as many people with their dreams as possible.